If Super Mario Land was Mario on Game Boy, then Super Mario Land 2 is Mario made for Game Boy. This is Critical Coins, and today we will decide if Super Mario Land 2 stays in the collection. The first thing that stands out in Super Mario Land 2 is the level design. 6 unique zones, distinct themes, and each level presents its own idea. Even when levels are the same theme, they still find a way to stay interesting from level to level by introducing new mechanics that are variations on the same theme, making them feel rarely repetitive. Additionally, Super Mario Land 2 feels like it was made for the actual Game Boy. See, as opposed to Super Mario Land 1, where things were just shrunk down to fit on the Game Boy, Super Mario Land 2 feels intentionally made with the Game Boy in mind. And it's because of this adjustment that makes Super Mario Land 2 feel so much better in comparison to Super Mario Land 1. Every level becomes very interesting. And because of this design decision, and each level having so much variety between it, even though there are themes for each zone, is really where Super Mario Land 2 shines the greatest. The downside of this is that Nintendo may have figured out the Game Boy a little too well.
And although it looks complicated, it is so well designed, even a child could fly it.
Can I fly it?
Of course you cannot.
Super Mario Land 2 is incredibly easy. The only exception, and one exception to this whole entire game, is simply the last level where you must face Wario. It is there where you see the largest difficulty jump, and where it feels like the more traditional Mario came out because most of the levels didn't require that same amount of platforming. What this game really needed was something closer to modern Mario design, where there were things like optional coins that were harder to get to really add some challenge to these levels. Super Mario Land 2 constantly adds great ideas, but it rarely asks you to master them. By the time an idea is presented, it's basically done with. And even though there are themes throughout the levels, because each level is so different, you never really get a chance to explore that idea or that design any more than one single level. It's one of the best platforms on the Game Boy, but the lack of meaningful challenge keeps this from being a diamond. That being said, it is a quintessential game that you should play on the Game Boy despite this fact.